everyone, welcome back and welcome to the fourth official episode of the Barca Global Podcast, and a lot of stuff to talk about regarding Barcelona today, and of course one very big story being Nico Williams to Barcelona, and there's even some stuff going on between Athletic Bilbao and Barcelona. I mean, that's basically one-sided though. It seems like Bilbao is just trying to come at Barcelona for trying to sign Nico Williams, so I'll talk more about that and give my opinions on that. And then also Noah Darvich is set to leave Barcelona. Rooney Bargi, a player from Copenhagen, is actually basically confirmed to have joined Barcelona this summer for around 2.5 million euros, which is just a crazy cheap deal in my opinion. I've also seen some Joao Cancelo links. Those don't seem very serious, but it does seem like Barcelona will eye a fullback signing after they complete the signing of Nico Williams. So there's a lot of stuff, as you can tell, going on around Barcelona. So I'm really excited to get in and talk about it. So I'll start with Nico Williams. And the first thing I want to talk about is go over the current events between Athletic Bilbao and Barcelona, because this is not really a two-sided conflict. This is just Bilbao not wanting to lose their player, Nico Williams, to Barcelona. And so what they've done, they put out an announcement. They're going to La Liga to try and prevent this signing from happening. They're asking La Liga, are Barcelona financially able to make this signing? Are they at the 1-to-1 ratio that we all talked about to every club has to get at so they can make signings? So that's what Bilbao is asking of Barcelona. And I understand, first off, not wanting to lose your star player, right? And I know we've seen all this stuff about Bilbao fans and the mural that they destroyed of Nico Williams. There's a lot of negative emotions towards potentially losing their player to another team in La Liga. What I will say is, when Inigo Martinez was at Real Sociedad, they triggered his 32 million release clause. They activated it. They signed him as a player. So there was nothing bad when they did that, right? And Nico Williams, I will say, he could have left Bilbao last summer, but he decided to stay at the club because I felt like he was loyal to the club, and he wanted to stay there, play with his brother for another year, and that's completely fine. It's not like he wrote out his contract and left on a free transfer. I mean, they are getting 60 million from him, which was his confirmed and agreed upon release clause. So again, I'm trying to be understanding of Bilbao because you don't want to lose your star player to another team in La Liga, but at the same time, if that player does want to leave the club, which from all reports that we've seen, it does seem like he does want to leave want to join Barcelona in the summer, then I don't really know if you can do something legally or go to the club to complain to try and prevent that from happening. So that's currently what's going on between the clubs. But as I said, Nico has made it very clear he wants to join Barcelona. I think we wouldn't be hearing about this. We wouldn't be hearing Bilbao trying to complain about to La Liga about Barcelona if that signing wasn't potentially going to happen this summer. So it's very interesting how this is going to play out. And I think another thing that I want to talk about is that a lot of Barca fans are growing a bit restless because we haven't seen that announcement. And I know Joan Garcia joined Barcelona, and that announcement was fairly quick when the transfer window opened. So some Barca fans are worried, well, is this not going to happen then? But everything that we've been hearing is that Nico Williams would be announced as a Barcelona player sometime at the beginning of July. So it's not going to happen in the next couple days. I've kind of known for the last week or so that it wasn't going to happen, that we weren't going to hear anything concrete. And then the reason that Barca fans are saying this is that the new fiscal year starts some point in July. So I want to say it's like the first or second week of July. And so Barcelona are waiting until that moment to then register the signing of Nico Williams or to then activate his release clause, which obviously there's some stuff in the background that we don't really know or understand because we don't see the full picture. But that, in my eyes, makes sense. If they're trying to do something that maybe makes it look better for the books or financially, it makes it a guarantee that they'd be able to sign Nico Williams, I'm okay waiting a week or two, I know everyone wants to make this signing official. You want to see him in a Barcelona jersey. But at the same time, Joan Laporta and Deco, they're doing everything they can behind the scenes to make this signing happen. So I wouldn't get restless. I wouldn't be too worried about, not hearing an official announcement yet, because in my opinion, what we've been hearing is that they're just waiting for this new fiscal year to begin, and then they will try and activate his release clause. And again, everything that we've seen, Nico Williams wants to join Barcelona and Bilbao because there's a release clause and there's no negotiation at all. It's not like they can really do anything. What they're trying to do is complain to La Liga, but it doesn't seem like that is going to work. And the second signing I want to talk about is one that Barcelona have potentially made. Fabrizio has already given the here we go, but Barcelona haven't officially announced it, and that is a backup right-wing signing in Rooney Bargi for 2.5 million from Copenhagen, which, that seems like such an incredible signing. 2.5 million for the potential that this player could hold. Why not go for that? 2.5 million is nothing in this market, and especially in a position that I do think Barcelona could look to reinforce. And I think it's a good gamble. It definitely is. Because Lamine Yamal, all the talent that he has, it's incredible what he does on the pitch, but you do not want to overplay him, right? Like 60, 70 games a season for one player is not great. You want to give these players rest, and you want to have promising players in those positions, because I think we all saw what happened when Lamine Yamal wasn't on the pitch for Barcelona, and they were kind of missing that creative right-wing profile. Even though Rafinha can slot into that position, but you're just missing that creativity. You're missing that dribbling, taking someone on 1v1, which again, Nico Williams, I think that signing will also help on the left-hand side. But Rooney Bargi, I think, could come in and really get some minutes as a squad player. And I'll be honest, I haven't seen that much of him live. We've seen just really good performances. I've seen clips, highlights. I've tried to do my research on this player, but I think he does have a lot of potential. You never know how it's going to turn out, how he can adapt from the Danish league to La Liga. But for the potential that he holds, I'm very excited about this signing. And I think this is one of those signings that you really enjoy seeing the club make, because you don't know what's going to happen, but for the fee, it's worth the risk. Because I remember when Barcelona were signing Trincao for 30 million. I can't even remember the other right wing. Demir, I think was his name. And, you know, it was like, okay, it's kind of a gamble. It could be exciting if these pay off. But I feel like with Rooney Bargi, for 2.5 million, you're thinking almost nothing could go wrong with this signing, because even if he's not able to adapt, that's okay. I think Barcelona could just sell him, or even if they completely lose him as a free transfer at some point in the future, 2.5 million is nothing. So I am all for this signing. I'm really excited to see Barcelona make another attacker signed in the summer. The next thing I wanted to talk about was there were some reports about Joao Cancelo rejoining Barcelona this summer. And I did see those rumors kind of just fall off a little bit. I think Rashad, who I feel like I trust with just in terms of reliability from his Barcelona reports, I just don't think that Joao Cancelo is going to join Barcelona this summer. But I do think they will try and sign an option as a right back and left back, which it'd be great if they could find a player that could play in both those positions. I can think of other players like Mingueza, someone at left back as well. Like, they've already talked about Grimaldo. I just don't know if he would really take that backup role, especially with, you know, how prominent he's been with Leverkusen. But you never know what's going to happen. I think obviously playing for Barcelona is a great achievement, so I think some players would take that option just to be a backup option off the bench. But I do think that's a position they can look to reinforce in the summer, and I think it would be important, because I think what we saw with Alejandro Balde, Gerard Martin, he did surprise me a little bit towards the end, because I feel like in the first couple games he just looked very out of his element. But I do think he settled into Barcelona's team, and the profile that he has, there are some strengths. Like, obviously it's nice to have a tall player in the box, and then I do think his passing is very good, especially just cutting inside on the left. Like that direct pass that he has on the ground, it's good there. But I just think going forward, you just lack that element that Alejandro Balde offers. And I also think defensively, you know, just not the quickest, not the best, I would say. But I do think Gerard Martin can be an option there, but it's always a position that they could try and reinforce. In the right back position, though, I think with Eric Garcia and how good he was doing in that position towards the end of the year, I think Koundé and him together on the right-hand side is pretty good, to be completely honest. And I think Eric Garcia is going to stay at the club. It kind of depends if Andreas Christensen is set to leave, because then at that point, maybe Eric Garcia or even Jules Koundé could slide in and could potentially be an option in the center back position. But yeah, in terms of outside backs, it didn't seem like Hansi Flick really trusted Hector Fort, but I do think they could look to sign someone on the cheaper side in that position this summer. And then another thing I wanted to talk about is Noah Darvich is set to leave Barcelona and join Stuttgart. I haven't really seen a fee. It doesn't seem like Barcelona are going to get that much anyways. I think they signed him for around $2 million, which I think is worth the gamble, because again, if things don't go right, you lose a little bit of salary, you lose $2 million. That's not that big of a deal, and it's worth the risk, because obviously he seemed like a very promising player, and I have seen clips of him, and I did watch him live. I tried to watch him sometimes with like the Barca Athletic games, and I think there was a tournament that I tried to watch him with Germany, but you know, he did have moments of brilliance here, and you felt like every time he was on the ball, he was quality, but you just felt like it was that factor that he wasn't able to really influence a game and kind of stand out when he played for Barcelona, and I just think he was a little bit off the first team. And you think of all the midfielders that Barca have in their club, and think of even someone like Fermin Lopez, how good he is, and he's not even a guaranteed starter next year. So I think Noah Darvich might have just seen that path to the first team and found it difficult. So someone like Stuttgart, I think, is a good option for him. So I'm excited to see where his career goes. I do think he has a lot of potential. Some Barca fans have said, you know, maybe they should have put a buyback clause in there or a sell-on clause. Yeah, obviously you kind of take the gamble when letting a player go for a cheap fee and not really putting that clause back in there. But, you know, for his career, I do think it's the best. I would have liked him to succeed at Barcelona, but there's so many talents at La Masia, and especially in the first team as well. So it's just a difficult path. Like, it takes a very top performer at those youth levels to make it to the first team. So I wish him all the best at Stuttgart, and I hope he does very well there. And the next thing I wanted to talk about was Lamine Yamal becoming Barcelona's new 10 next season. And this is very likely to happen now because Ansu Fati has left the club for AS Monaco, and there were already reports that Lamine Yamal was going to get it anyways, and he didn't want to take it out of respect to Ansu Fati. But because he's leaving the club, it just seems likely that he's getting the 10 next season. And there have been some Barca fans that have said, I don't want to put that extra pressure on him. Lamine Yamal does not, to me, seem like a guy that's going to feel pressure there. Like, I feel like he will take that challenge and run with it. That's just my opinion, because you already know how much pressure he plays with, and it doesn't bother him at all on the pitch. Like, I've never seen that before. Like, I feel like in the biggest moments, when there's so much adversity against him, or there are so many people on him, he's still taking the ball and running at players, and that's a 10 for me. It's just someone that's creative, that you want on the ball at all times. It's your best player. So I feel like it's only fitting that he would be the number 10 at Barcelona next season. And so pressure, I wouldn't really worry about that. I mean, I know it's something that you always kind of are concerned about when talking about young players, but what Lamine Yamal did last season, I don't even really think of him as, like a potential player now because of how good he was. Like, I already believe he was the best player in the world last season. So the best player in the world can get the number 10, I think, in my opinion. So Lamine Yamal, if he is getting the number 10 next season, I'd be very happy to see it, even though I really do like 19. So if he stays with that number, I'm completely fine with that as well. But yeah, as always, thank you very much for watching my video. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to get in a better rhythm of making videos. And if there are any specific videos that you all would like to see, I'm trying to just get back on YouTube because I had such a long time away. So I just want to try and get the people that were watching before to come back and to know that I still want to do this. So yeah, I'm really excited to continue to make more videos, and I hope you all have been doing great. Visca Barca as always. And if there are any other videos that you would like to see me make, please let me know in the comments. I would love to make some more videos or have some good ideas to talk about. So thank you very much. And as always, Visca Barca. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all later. Peace.